being a Syracuse fan, a lot of my business is based upon people going to games or cheering on, the football or basketball or lacrosse teams. And, I think Syracuse fans really live and die by their teams.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Good News York. My name is Noah Chrysler. Today I am sitting with Bert the shirt. Bert, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Introduce yourself quick.
Yeah, so my name is Bert, and I am originally from San Diego, but a Syracuse University alumni. And about 7 years ago, I opened Scholars and Champs.
Yeah. So also you told me that you have an event coming up this Saturday, yeah?
Yep.
So tell me about the event as well.
Yeah, so we'll be open from 11 to 8 o'clock on Saturday for our 7-year anniversary event. It's the biggest event of the year. We do 25% off the whole store, which is pretty much
wow.
It's the biggest sale we do, the biggest discount. We'll have Heirloom there giving away stuff, and then we'll also have some alcoholic refreshments for those that like to drink.
Cool. Kind of a big party, yeah?
Yeah, basically.
Cool. It's exciting. How long is the party, and when should I show up?
The store's open 11 to 8, but we'll, pretty much be there. People will start trickling in around 12:01, and then if for people who have to work who want to come later, we're staying open a little later till 8 o'clock.
Cool. Wonderful. So this is your 7-year anniversary, yeah? Beautiful. In those 7 years, tell me the story of the store.
Yeah, so it all started probably back around 2011. I became the alumni club president for Syracuse University out in Los Angeles. And I would come back to campus for meetings or a game 2-3 times a year. And I always wanted to wear something that was, cool, unique, high quality. And I really couldn't find anything I liked. So I started collecting old vintage stuff. I had my mom sew all kinds of stuff, and next thing you know, I had a storage facility just full of orange clothes. And finally, I was like, I got to do something with this. I had no idea exactly what I was going to do. And then finally, I was like, I've worked retail my whole life. I might as well, open a store. And so that's what I did.
Cool. You worked retail?
Yeah, so I worked retail my whole life, mostly department stores. So I worked for Nordstrom and Neiman Marcus and Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills. Bloomingdale's as well. So, kind of have a good background, but I also worked wholesale and gone to trade shows and worked for an independent boutique. So, I feel like I have a good gamut of, knowledge across the fashion retail world.
For sure. Cool. What is your favorite part of running the store?
People always ask me what the best moment is. I would have to say when I'm out and about in the wild, whether I'm at a game or a bar or an event, and I'll see someone who bought something from my store and they're wearing it.
Cool.
And it's kind of like this moment where you're like, hey. And then people, I really get a kick out of it, as do the people. They're like, hey, you just sold me this. And I'm like, yeah, it looks really cool,
I love that. Cool. As someone who runs, a store about Syracuse merchandise, I feel like you're kind of like in the Syracuse culture environment, right? What are some things about Syracuse culture specifically that people might not understand?
I feel like it's a generational thing in terms of like being a Syracuse fan. A lot of my business is based upon people going to games or cheering on, the football or basketball or lacrosse teams. And, I think Syracuse fans really live and die by their teams. I always used to phrase it as when I lived in Los Angeles, you had all the professional teams, you had the college teams. But here in Syracuse, the college team is like all of those combined. So, and you'll have people drive from 2, 3, 4 hours away just to come to see a game here at the Dome.
Wow. That's awesome. In your store, do you have anything that you picked up recently or anything that's like on display that you're like very proud of?
Yeah, I just got this jacket here.
Cool.
So I figured I would wear it and so everybody could see it. But this time of year, you start to sell a lot of T-shirts. I really sell sweatshirts all year round. The other big emphasis lately has been all the 2003 championship merchandise.
Oh, cool.
Just because we hired Jerry McNamara as our coach. So there's a lot of focus on that era of Syracuse sports at this moment.
Cool. Of the merch that you collect, I'm assuming you go around into different. I don't know. What does your merch procurement system look like?
So I always joke, if I told you that I'd have to kill you.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to have to kill you.
Sure.
But I also hate when people don't answer the question. So I'll try my best to take a shot at this. So, I always say anywhere you can imagine someone goes to find this stuff, I've been there to find stuff. So most of it is thrifted or comes from, people who collect it. I do get, some old timers who are clearing out closets and, want to get rid of some stuff. So, I'm able to get a lot of it that way. I do also get a lot of stuff from Rochester and Buffalo. They're a little bit bigger scenes, and, I always say they're more willing to get rid of their merchandise. So, yeah, that's kind of the summary of where I find it.
Cool. If I am like, oh, maybe I'll give Bert all this stuff. Like, what is typically the most common, and then like, what are some like rare finds and pickups for you? Like, oh, that's really interesting and unique.
I would say the most common is the 2003 championship, because if you think back, everybody bought a shirt from that because it's our only national championship. But the more obscure stuff, I would say, is some of the cartoon collaborations.
Interesting.
So that, and then anything Saltine Warrior. Those are the two that you just don't see as much, but that are very valuable, and definitely something that once people see it, they're like, oh, I gotta have it.
Okay, this is embarrassing, but I don't know what Saltine Warrior is because I've been away. Look, I grew up here, right? But I was away for about 7 years, and then I came back.
Yeah, it was our Native American mascot, and it was used, I want to say, from like the 50s all the way through like maybe the mid 80s.
Wow.
And then eventually it got phased away, but it's very popular.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool. For SU or?
Yep.
Gotcha.
And there used to be a guy who dressed up, and you'd see him at games, and there's still a statue in the quad up at Syracuse University.
Is there really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Well, cool. Wonderful. So you typically the cartoon collaborations too. What is this? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So there's tons of different ones I've seen over the years. I would say the most ones you see the most are maybe the Flintstones, and then Looney Tunes. So Taz and Bugs Bunny. You also do see Mickey Mouse, Garfield, Snoopy. So there's a lot of different ones that were done in the 80s and 90s that you'll see kind of pop up every once in a while.
Cool. Coming from California to one of the snowiest cities in the country, what is that like?
It still doesn't bother me. It's just kind of new for me still, even though I've been here about 10 years. I find it like a novelty, and I think it's like fun to like trudge out in the snow and like trek around, but it doesn't really bother me yet. I mean, we had a bad winter this year, but I didn't think it was that bad.
Cool. Do you have a SU snowsuit?
Yeah, I have plenty of Syracuse heavier jackets that I can wear.
Cool.
Bundle up for the
any snow pants
weather.
Or anything like?
I don't think I have any Syracuse snow pants, which is surprising. I feel like I should.
Syracuse, we gotta get on this, okay? We got I don't know. We gotta get a snow pants line
Right.
out. I think that'd be cool. Well, cool. I don't know. What are you excited for the future of your business?
Yeah, summer's a little quiet, but every year back to school, which starts around second, third week in August through December, that's kind of my time to shine.
Gotcha.
You have Parents' Weekend and homecoming and all the first football games, and then basketball will start end of October, early November. But I'm just excited to continue to, keep giving the masses the cool vintage gear that you just can't find anywhere else.
Absolutely. Tell me about that too. So why should people come to your shop?
I always tell people that, everything you get at my store is unique. A lot of it is pretty much one-on-one. You can't find it anywhere else. And it's very high quality. It's better than the stuff that's made now. I always joke and say, it's already lasted 40 years. It's easily going to last another 40. Whereas that stuff you buy at other competitors just isn't going to last. And honestly, their stuff is almost the same price as mine now. So we try to be really competitive. I understand some of my stuff's a little more expensive, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, and it's also vintage, and it's unique. I mean, some of the items that you described, even in this short time here, sound incredibly unique, and I think that that's really cool. I also love your sneakers. Look at those.
Thank you.
Are these SU themed, or did you just pick
they're
these
the
up?
old Prada Sports, so they called them like America's Cup.
Cool. They look nice.
Yeah.
And I like the pants too, man. You looking good. Cool. Very good. Well, cool. Bert, is there anything that we didn't cover that you wish we did?
No, just check us out if you live out of town or out of state. We do have a website, or follow us on all social media, because that's always where we post when we get new stuff or have sales and deals like that.
Beautiful. What is that website, and what are your social handles?
Just scholarsandchamps.com, and we're on everything: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
Beautiful. Well, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first, or maybe not first. Maybe you are familiar with Bert and you heard it here again. But scholarsandchamps.com, yeah, or Scholars and Champs on social media. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. My name is Noah Chrysler. This is Good News York. This is a production put on by Clickstream Studios. We are a full-service content marketing agency here in the Old Spaghetti Warehouse location. We are central to downtown Syracuse, and we do all sorts of digital marketing, from video to online sales to websites and that sort of thing. You can get a free marketing plan from me. I will sit with you for about 45 minutes, learn everything I can about your business. I'll take all that information, I'll go put it together into a marketing plan, and I'll hand it to you for free. You don't have to use that marketing plan with us. You can use that on your own, or you could use it with us if you so choose. But yeah, you can do that by visiting call.clickstreamstudios.com. You can also just go to our website, clickstreamstudios.com. Thank you so much for watching. This show is also brought to you by getadsonthego.com. Ads on the go, getadsonthego.com. It's also brought to you by Danny Tripodi, the guy behind that camera who makes it all happen. What a cool guy. There he is. DannyTripodi.com. We got to get you a URL, buddy. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, guys.